two kids buried their sleeping father in the sand, and then playfully splashed a bucket of water over him. At that moment, a lightning bolt suddenly struck. Everyone was startled and quickly ran away. The two kids checked on their father, only to be shocked when they found the sand had turned into glass, and a large amount of blood was flowing from his neck. In panic, they hurriedly called 911. When the firefighters arrived, they found the man's pulse was elevated and his breathing weak. Suspecting he was losing excessive blood, they needed to dig him out quickly. The two kids felt incredibly guilty, but they couldn't understand why the sand had turned into glass. Buck, seeing their distress, quickly comforted them, and patiently explained that when lightning strikes sand, it can turn the water into glass. Meanwhile, other firefighters discovered that a piece of glass had punctured the man's neck, right at an artery. Luckily, the glass had partly cauterized the wound, but as they dug him free, the glass also cut the artery in his arm. They quickly applied a tourniquet to his arm to stop the bleeding, and managed to save him. The man was then placed on a stretcher, ready to be taken to the hospital. Before leaving, he comforted his kids, telling them he was fine and to stop worrying.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too.
The eerie blue flames were blazing, yet the firefighters seemed oblivious, rushing straight in to rescue the injured. Two of them lifted the driver onto a stretcher, but suddenly felt the temperature around them becoming unbearably hot. At that moment, another firefighter was shouting, desperately asking for help to put out a fire. The captain, witnessing this strange scene, knew they were in serious trouble today. She shouted to order to evacuate the injured immediately, and to turn off all the lights. Once the lights were turned off, blue flames began appearing on the firefighter's body. The teammate quickly sprayed him with foam. Yet the more urgent problem was the flames spreading on the ground, heading directly toward a leaking fuel tanker. Staring at the raging fire, the firefighters were momentarily frozen. Two teammates, along with the unconscious driver, were now trapped behind a wall of flames. One firefighter grabbed a hose ready to extinguish the fire, but the captain urgently stopped him. It was ethanol burning, and using water would only fuel the blaze. Only foam could extinguish it, but the foam truck was still 8 minutes away. The two trapped firefighters had to find a way to save themselves. They noticed a gap behind them. If they moved quickly, they might escape, but the injured man on the ground complicated their plan. The flames would soon reach him, and if it touched the body, it would be impossible to put out. All three were at risk of being consumed by the inferno. For now, they could only wait for rescue. They began to inventory their supplies, covering the injured man with aluminum foil and smearing saline solution on the surface. Finally, they placed an oxygen mask on him. The injured man was temporarily safe, but the intense heat at the scene made the air scorchingly hot. The longer they delayed, the greater the danger. Yet the foam truck still needed 5 more minutes to arrive. The flames were drawing closer. The ground heat was so intense it began melting their boots. The captain made a swift decision. She ordered everyone into the fire truck, started the engine, and charged into the sea of flames. As long as they moved fast enough, the tires wouldn't melt. Before the truck came to a complete stop, two firefighters leaped out, and together the four of them quickly loaded the stretcher into the truck, and they narrowly escaped the blazing inferno. 13-year-old Ava was unexpectedly pregnant and hid alone in the school bathroom, overwhelmed and scared. Upon learning what was happening, the firefighters covered her lower body with a towel. Her contractions were 2 minutes apart, indicating that labor was imminent. Ben understood she didn't want her parents to find out, but insisted on notifying the principal. Ava became even more terrified, because her mother was the school principal. As Ava's pain grew worse, they realized they couldn't get her to a hospital in time and would need to deliver the baby right there. However, the captain had already sent the ambulance away because they discovered someone had deliberately triggered the alarm. It was Ben's son, hoping to get them there to help Ava. The next ambulance was still 5 minutes away. The team had to assist Ava without medical tools, but at just 13, Ava was overwhelmed by both fear and intense pain. Victoria tried to calm her down by singing and performing to distract her.
I'm a little teapot. Come on, handle. Yes, 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 yes. Good. Here is my spout. That's it. Come on, tip me over and pour me.
When the baby was finally born, everyone was shocked. The baby was still encased in its amniotic sac. Usually the sac would rupture during birth. If it didn't, the baby's airway could become blocked, and it would quickly stop responding. Ava was terrified, fearing she might have hurt the baby. Then the infant moved slightly. Victoria quickly tore the sac with her hands, used a tube to clear the baby's airway, and wrapped it in a towel before performing CPR. At last, the baby opened its eyes and cried. Relieved, they handed the baby to Ava and called her mother into the room. Ava, in tears, begged her mom not to be angry, but seeing the pain her daughter had endured, the mother was filled more with heartbreak than anger. A man called 911, reporting that he heard a baby crying in his bathroom, but the firefighters who arrived heard nothing. Just then the captain seemed to pick up on a faint sound. Using a stethoscope, he confirmed it. The sound of a baby crying came through. The team quickly realized there was a baby trapped in the sewer. Buck grabbed an axe ready to break through the wall, but the captain wisely stopped him to avoid harming the infant. Instead, they began digging by hand to expose the sewer pipe. Carefully cutting through it with a saw, they managed to remove the entire section. Using flashlights, they finally spotted the baby wedged inside. The baby was stuck too tightly to be pulled out immediately, so they applied lubricant to the pipe, and with the captain's gentle push, the baby was freed. However, the baby had already stopped breathing. The firefighter began to tap the baby's chest, while using his fingers to clear the baby's throat. As the foreign object was removed, a faint cry finally came out. The firefighters rushed to get the baby to the hospital. Meanwhile, the cop noticed blood on the floor. Following the trail, they successfully located the sewer entrance where the incident happened. They also found the baby's mother. She was bleeding heavily and in critical condition, so they quickly transported both the mother and baby in an ambulance. During the ride, the baby's condition worsened. The captain gently placed the mother's hand next to the baby's. As soon as the baby felt the mother's touch, it grasped her hand, and miraculously baby's condition began to stabilize. Seeing her baby fight to survive, the mother wept tears of regret. There's a car accident on the street. Firefighters are called to the scene.
We got two kids!
Inside the wrecked car, 2 children are still seated in their car seats, while their parents remain unconscious.
Do you mind if it's...
Don't let my daddy go away.
We're going to take good care of him.
A terrified young girl named Lena confides in Novak, revealing that her father had deliberately crashed the car, claiming he wanted the entire family to die. Recognizing the severity of Lena's words, Novak reports her statement to the police.
The position of the car was strange. Straight into the wall, like the driver didn't try to turn or stop.
However, when Catherine, Lena's mother, regains consciousness, she denies the allegation. The story takes a darker turn when Lena's aunt steps in, supporting her niece and confirming Lena's fear of her father as genuine. Lena later tells Novak that her father had sped up, shouting they should all die together, confirming the crash was indeed intentional. The police then arrest Lena's father, still lying in a coma in the hospital. Finally, Catherine admits her husband is mentally ill, though she initially tried to cover up his actions.
Animal control is on the way. Stop spraying them with that. It's just gonna piss them off. Stand still, okay? And don't look them in the eyes, that's a challenge. Hey, how big are they? Take a look. Oh, crap. I was hoping to save one for lunch.
You have a gun?
Oh, no, shooting them's just gonna piss them off. Got him.
Thank you. You are a beautiful genius.
Is he okay? Should be fine. We'll have animal control test the dog for rabies. Here, when you got here, was that slide door open or closed? Closed. So it's the front door. Dogs can't get inside unless they live here.
What's going on, officer?
Sir, is this your house?
Yeah, what happened to my dogs?
You'll be happy to know they've been fed and they're safe. Problem is, you've been burglarized. You think I'm stupid, huh? You think you can just make me look like a fool and walk away?